What's going on, people? It is 12:45 in the morning, and I'm pretty bored. So I figured I'd do my second installment of my anime review. So today I want to talk about Blazblue Ultra Memory. But before I get into this review, just a heads up, I've been having some microphone problems, which is why I haven't done this review. I meant to do it literally the day that the last episode came out, but I got this like weird staticky noise in my microphone now for whatever reason. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I'm hoping that my background music can kind of mask it up for me, but if not, just bear with me. Hopefully I can get this fixed. I don't know how, but I'll figure something out. But for now, this is quality-wise, this is the best I can do. But anywho, on to Blazblue Ultra Memory. For those who don't know, this was a video game, two video games actually, Blazblue Comedy Trigger and Blazblue Continuum Shift. I believe the anime is loosely based off of both games. I also got to say before I start this review that I never got into the games much. I played Comedy Trigger about once or twice, and it actually seemed, I like fighting games, and it seemed like a pretty good game, but I never really got around to really, I never like sat down and really just got into it. I just kind of played it a few times, and then that was it. But when I heard they were doing an anime, I was like, all right, I know I didn't play the game, but it might be worth checking out. Pretty much the people I knew who played it and were fans of it, it has a pretty big lower fan base from what I've seen, so I figured that the anime would be at least worth, giving a watch. And how do I even start? I normally don't dive into what I don't like about animes at very first go, but when I started watching this, I remember I hit like episode 6, and I realized that I had no clue what was going on with like the story. To try and put it together, it follows Ragnar the Blood Edge, who's the main character, and he has a bounty on his head, a pretty high bounty, and there's rumors that he's gonna be in this city. I can't remember the city's name off the top of my head. So of course, when people figure out or find out that he's about to be in the city, with a bounty on his head, you can imagine everybody's pretty much after him. So he does show up in the city, and people are on his head, and his purpose of being there, kind of sort of from what I can understand, is he's attempting to destroy the NOL, I believe. And yeah, let me just get into what I don't like. The reason why I can't even really explain this story is because this anime is so confusing. Like, from what I've read from other reviews, and it's definitely true, if you've never played the game or you don't know the characters from the game and their backgrounds, when you jump into this anime, you're going to be completely lost like I was. Like, literally, I didn't get a firm grasp of, I still really honestly don't have a firm grasp, but I didn't even really start to understand what was going on until more than halfway through. The anime was only 12 episodes. Probably around like 8 and 9 was when things finally kind of sort of started clicking to me. And even then, I still wasn't, excuse me, I'm not even going to edit that out. Wasn't even sure of wasn't sure of what was really going on. The one thing that kept me entertained was that there were plenty of fights. As you can imagine, a man with bounty on his head, pretty much everyone he comes in contact with is trying to kill him. So he does get into a lot of fights. Fight sequences in his anime, they're decent. I did enjoy his first fight with his brother Jin, who's another main character. I did like that fight. That was one of the few consistent things about this anime that I enjoyed, was even though the fight scenes weren't amazing, mind-blowing, there were plenty of them enough to keep me actually wanting to watch, to see what would happen next, just to see him get in another fight, because the story like I said before, and that's my main just problem with this anime, but it's such a huge problem, is that they don't do a good job of explaining the story. As far as other characters, Jin, Rachel Alucard, and a few other people, Sabaki, and a couple other characters. If you watch, you'll know what I'm talking about. They don't explain like their backgrounds, and like even within the main story, there are little side plots here and there with people's backgrounds and other people who have like ulterior motives, but you just never get like an explanation. I was like, the whole time I was watching this, I was just waiting, like, okay, this is the episode that I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna understand what's going on, and then it's just him getting into another fight, but I don't really get an explanation as to what, as to what's going on. I was just so confused the whole time I was watching this, and like I said, literally the action was the only thing that kind of kept me wanting to continue finishing it. And that it was only 12 episodes, so I figured this won't be too hard to get through. The animation also was kind of a letdown. One of the things I do remember about the game was that, at least in my opinion, visually it looked really good, but the anime on the show is it's not bad, but it's average at best. The animation kicks up kind of when they get into the fight scenes, when people start activating powers. It gets a tad bit more polished, but even then it's still just average at best. Yeah, that's pretty much the word to describe this show, was average. Like, I felt like the whole time I was watching, I don't know, I felt like I was just waiting for more. Like, I was expecting that, I don't know, at some point I would get it, or things would just click, and it never happened. And it sucks because I felt like they had a good cast of characters, they had action, like the tools were there for them to made this something, something good. Like, this had, to me, it had a lot of potential to be a really good anime, and they had, pulling from video game, you got good source material to pull from, and I don't know what they did. Like, I don't know. For me, it wasn't bad. Like, I still enjoyed it, but I can't say I would recommend it or I would say, if you've never played the game like I have, if you're gonna watch it, just be prepared to be confused for a good portion of the series. And I've read even people who have played the game, that they still, even they had issues with how the story is presented and how the pacing was. And that's the story of the show, pretty much. That's the whole gist of it. It was just poorly explained, and it was just overall confusing. But if you enjoy some action sequences every now and again, which they have plenty of, you might be able to sit through it like I did. Favorite, I'm trying to think of any favorite moments. I did enjoy the character Hakumen. I was kind of disappointed that he only fought, I think, twice. That dude was a beast in the little times they did show him. I wish he could have got some more airtime. Like I said, they had good characters, but they just, I don't know. It was like all the pieces were there, but somehow they just didn't put it all together. And at the end, I was just kind of like, especially at the last episode. I mean, I won't spoil it, but it started off good, and then the way it ended, I was just kind of like, this was, this was average. That's just the one word that comes to mind: average and confusing. I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, if you want to check it out and you haven't played the video games, just be ready to not know what's going on for the first 6 to about 8 episodes. And even if you have played the video games and you go to watch this, it'll probably end up a little disappointed. From what I've heard, like I said, I don't know the game story like that, but from what I've heard, the adaptation wasn't done good at all, and I can believe that with the way they laid everything out. Like this had potential to be something, and they just kind of dropped the ball. And I know this probably isn't the best review. I probably sound all over the place, but when you watch, go watch the show and then come back to review, and you'll understand why I can't really even fully explain everything, because that's just, for me, that's how the series went. But yeah, in closing, they had good source material. Could have been something special, but they kind of, dropped the ball. But kudos to all the fight scenes, which I did enjoy and kept me wanting to come back every week to watch, just to see some more fighting. So yeah, that's about it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think. For anyone who actually fully understands the story, please comment and give me like a synopsis or something, so I can actually make sense of what I watched for those 12 episodes. And hopefully I'll be reviewing another anime soon. Until next time, catch y'all later.